Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Good morning, good morning. All right, let me just let the Discord know I'm live. Hold on. All right. All right, so obviously a pretty hectic day coming up. We have FOMC at 2 p.m. Let me just double check the calendar quick just to make sure I'm not missing anything. So we had ADP, non-farm employment change. Andre, what's up? We had advanced GDP this morning, and that was obviously a market mover. It wasn't huge though, a little bit more than I expect, a little bit less than I expected. Then we have the FOMC statement at 2 p.m. So that is going to be when I live stream in the community. But for now, we're just going to do a fun live stream, see if we can get any setups. Really, what I would say to focus on today, if you guys can focus on something, which you should be able to, otherwise you shouldn't be a trader, but you should focus on unbalanced fair value gaps. So right now I'm paying attention in the morning to some pretty decently obvious fair value gaps that are forming. So for example, one that catches my eye is this one that formed at high of day. So we have this balanced price range here, and we have this 1 minute fair value gap that formed here. Now, do I know if this is going to hit before FOMC? Absolutely not. We could actually end up inversing this and going higher and then forming another one up here. But what I'm expecting is to have some kind of a fair value gap form in the middle of the range. So let's just say, I don't know, the market is trading. I'm just re-copying what the market looks like right now, right? So it kind of looks like this. Let's say that today we keep this range up. We get some like pretty big down move here. Why is my drawing tool not working? We get some kind of a big down move and then continuation. Then we kind of just like consolidate and chop. What I'm expecting is to see a fair value gap form right here, okay? And this is what I would be aiming for as my draw on liquidity later in the day. So let's just say FOMC comes out, we come up here, manipulate down, and then we get some kind of an inversion right here. This is where I would go long, targeting this imbalance. So my target would be here. Could we go higher than that? Absolutely. Could we go back to high of day? Sure. Maybe we could even come back and balance this 1 minute gap. This would be a like last resort target. This is something you would leave for runners. So the first long would be taken to that first fair value gap that forms in the middle of the range. And then if you have runners, which I don't know, I wouldn't really suggest trading with like extra size where you would have, unless you normally trade with multiple contracts, I wouldn't suggest it. But then your runner would be used to target that imbalance above. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, and I'll go over that in more detail when we do the live stream in the community later, just so you guys are, have more peace of mind. You're not like completely confused. But basically, I'm looking for a large imbalance in the middle of the range to target for longs later if we get it. And that live stream, if you guys are interested in partaking, will be at 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock Eastern. So I'm just going to do like a fun live stream here, see if we can catch any moves. And then the real live stream with all of the explanations behind FOMC and ranges and whatnot will be at 2 o'clock. So another thing I will note, so we are on MNQ here, but if you look at, I'll pull up NQ on the other side. NQ1. So we have perfect equal lows that just formed right here. So don't be surprised if those hit. I don't know what's going to happen from here. We could trade into this 1 minute and reject. I'm looking for, we could easily come back and fill this imbalance, but if this gets left again, that's going to be like my final target for the day. So we will see what we get. Has anyone taken any trades today? You can see we got a rejection from midnight. I did take a scalp here. There was a What was it? There was a 15-second inversion here that I took for a very, very light scalp, and that's the only thing I've taken today. What I'm trying to do here is to create kind of like a cushion on the day, so that when FOMC time comes around, I can hold for a little bit longer. I can deal with more drawdown because I have a cushion. Okay, let's take a look at the rest of the market. Tesla up 0.3%, SOXL up 1 or 3%, NVO down 5%. Let me look at the general markets. VFC, what is VFC again? VFC Corporation. I added this to my watch list, but I completely forgot what it was. Huh, interesting. HIM's up 8% on the day. Wow. Full recovery. Chipotle was down, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so Chipotle is one, guys, that I'm looking to sell puts on. I'm going to alert the community when I do it, but we have finally gotten to this target of mine on Chipotle, which is this monthly fair value gap. So I'm going to draw the quartiles here of this gap. Keep them in white. But you can see this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4 of Chipotle. So for every quadrant we hit, I will be selling another round of puts. So I'm trying to sell, I'm trying to get filled on my first round at $40 per contract, which I don't know if I'll get, but we'll see. And then I'm looking to accumulate a long position within this fair value gap for the long term. So that'll be good. We'll see if we get that. Okay. Oh, so we came super close to that 1 minute fair value gap, but we rejected right before it. Very interesting. So I'm going to be super patient. Has anyone taken any trades? Let me know in the chat. Chat. Andre, any trades? Kay, whoever else is in here. Gold scalps. I'm actually looking for a longer dated short on gold. Let's just look at the regular one. So we have this pretty strong trend line that just broke. I want to see a further retest, so somewhere around like 309. And then I will try a short here. And the target would be probably this sell side liquidity. We have this all these daily gaps here. But maybe like to fully fill this imbalance. So I would look for a retest of the trend line. Stop loss would be back at high of all-time highs. And then I would look to target this sell side liquidity right here. That would be awesome to see. Okay, so it looks like we did target this imbalance here before the session. So, I mean, before FOMC. So we'll see if it fully fills. If it doesn't fully fill, it will still be a draw on liquidity. In theory, this could be a short entry. I'm not going to try it, but yeah. We did technically get an inversion here to the upside, but we swept this high already, so it's tough to take this, but this is probably going to fully fill this gap and then go higher. Yeah, this looks like we're going to fully fill the new week opening gap again and probably go up above this high. And then what I'd be looking for, so this is what I would prefer now. If we can sweep this high, okay, let's say we have like a slow grind up and then we get like some random drop, then we'll have a bunch of fair value gaps that are formed in this middle of the range. So that's what I'm looking for. And then if we get a manipulation into FOMC, meaning like we could maybe slow grind up, we get a manipulation down, we'll look for an inversion here, and that will be targeting this imbalance and then ultimately this imbalance. That's what I would like to see. So maybe screenshot this if you want, I don't care, but middle of the range fair value gaps or imbalances are what I'm looking for. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna delete it, and if you want to screenshot it, you're welcome to go back and you're welcome to go back and on the recording, and you can screenshot it then. Whoops, just deleted the new week opening gap. All right, so there's a new week opening gap high, and now this internal buy side should get hit. Be careful longing up here, but in theory that was in theory you could enter and target this buy side, but I'm not going to. I will also note, if you look at NQ, we do have this hourly fair value gap here, which I think could easily be a draw today. Maybe what happens is we kind of stay in this range and then we manipulate up into this and then we get a short setup later on. We'll see. But I would pay attention to this. It looks like a pretty strong magnet for price. I would not be surprised if that ends up being a draw on liquidity. So make sure you guys mark this hourly fair value gap on your charts, because this could be... So if we do manipulate up into FOMC and then get a drop. So this is another thing, guys. So let me point something out that happened yesterday, okay? So yesterday we had our London session and our Asia session as well, obviously, but I just keep blended on the charts. We consolidated it in the London session, and then we manipulated above it. So this to me looks like it could be the start of an intraday or intra-month, intra-week sell program. So if we are able to manipulate back up into these fair value gaps, that could be the start of the rejection lower. If you look at the weekly chart from last week, I don't know if you guys studied the TGIF setup, but you can mark the Fibonacci's from low to high of the weekly candle. You can see we never came back down and touched into the 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, or 0.2, 0.25, 0.3, and 0.5 of that weekly candle. So what we could do this week is manipulate, like I said, on the hourly. So manipulate into this hourly fair value gap, maybe some of the fair value gaps above here, and then reject and use that to target all 4 standard deviations of the all 4 standard deviations of the Asia range, and target these weekly Fibonacci's. So those are all the different things I'm looking at. Does any of that not make sense? If you don't understand the TGIF setup, if you don't understand hourly inversions, if you don't understand manipulation, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I know when I started it was really confusing, but all of it can be learned easily. Not easily, but it can be learned, sorry. So there is a 1 minute inversion here. I mean, this could be used as a drive higher to target buy side. Is this an A plus long? Absolutely not. Will it work? Probably. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. Okay, so very strong wick there. Not a good sign for bulls. Again, nothing that I would take here. This is not A plus at all. But you can see that we are rejecting this little 1 minute gap, so just keep that in mind. Retesting this 1 minute inversion. Interesting. So you can see that NQ, sorry, I'm looking at my other charts. You can see that NQ swept the 830 high. ES did not until literally just now. There is an SMT right here between this high and this high. There's technically an SMT on the 1 minute chart. I don't think it's going to hold. I think this is going to push through buy side, but we'll see what happens. Okay, nice push there. I think this is going to go above buy side liquidity, and then we'll probably get a slow grind up until maybe this macro time, then maybe we dump again. We'll see. Whoops, sorry guys. Okay, so there's a sweep of that buy side liquidity. I still think this continues higher. Again, there's no setup here. You could have taken this inversion if you wanted to, but I think this is slowly going to grind up. Again, the main draw for me that I'm looking at here is this hourly fair value gap. So I will draw that on MNQ, and we'll just see what happens from there. Okay, let me just let the community know what puts I'm selling here. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, just give me a second. Okay. CMG. Back down. Accumulating a long-term position. Looking at the August 29th. All right. What the heck? All right. So again, nothing really going on here. We've come down and filled this 1 minute inversion. I think this is probably going to continue higher. The draw for me on the hourly chart, again, is this hourly inversion here. It's not an inversion yet, but it could potentially become an inversion. So I'd like to see a tap into this, and then from here maybe a rejection. What I'd hope to see is that today we kind of consolidate in this range, manipulate into this, and then we get a short setup during FOMC minutes. Okay, so this looks to me like that kind of like 3 drivesy pattern, trying to get people to short this, inducing them, and then taking it up into this. Again, not a setup, but just my observations here. Normally when we make 2 highs like this, we come up and sweep it again. And I will note, guys, again, we have perfect equal lows that formed on the 1 minute chart here on NQ. These are going to be a draw later today. What's probably going to happen is we manipulate during FOMC. Maybe we take them out before. I don't know. But these will obviously, I mean, not 100%, but there's a very high likelihood that these will get touched today. Doesn't mean to just enter randomly, but don't be surprised when they hit. Just scanning through different time frames to see if there's anything I missed. Doesn't look like it. So I hope we get a setup, but again, this is the draw for me right now, this hourly fair value gap. Hopefully we can get it, but I need to see some kind of a move down and then another inversion. This is not a place where I could be entering long randomly because we just swept high of day, so we could easily reject here. Again, we have equal lows on NQ. I know I'm an MNQ, but it's because I'm trading on one of my Tradeovate 50Ks. I'm not going to trade NQ with a 50K account. Absolutely not. Anyone in the chat taken anything today? This is the only thing I would have suggested, even potentially, but I did not take it personally. But you could see the reason I didn't take this setup is because this internal high already got swept. You can see that it got swept there on this candle. And my target would have been high of day. So risk to reward wasn't amazing, wasn't great. It was about a 2.4 is decent. And let me know what you guys are trading. Are you trading cash accounts right now? Are you doing prop firms? Today will only be funded accounts for me. I don't really trade cash accounts on FOMC day, but I will trade fundeds. Just depends. If the setup is too clean to ignore, then I'll trade on a cash account, but I prefer to keep the risk from FOMC on a funded. Andre does cash. Do you have any prop firms, Andre, or do you just trade cash accounts? For those of you guys who are newer to trading, I mean, even if you're not, I mean, some very pro traders just use prop firms. That's it. But if you guys want to make sure you're not risking your own money, especially as a new trader, which I 100% should suggest, I would really focus on finding a good prop firm. For me, the ones that I use are Apex. So like this 50K right now is through Apex. And then Top Step X are my two favorite ones. Andre, why don't you use prop firms? Just not needed for you, or because of another reason? Maybe you don't trust them. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a pop here into this hourly gap. Excuse me. Again, there's no setup here, no inversions, but if this ends up just manipulating up here, so be it. Tried props, but it did not work for me. Which prop firms did you try? I know an issue a lot of people deal with is trailing drawdown. If that is an issue for you guys and it makes you blow accounts, I would suggest trying Top Step X. It still has trailing drawdown, but it only sets the trailing drawdown at the end of the day. It's not like with Apex, for example, which I think are a little harder to pass, where the trailing drawdown actually activates midday as you're trading. With Top Step X, you can deal with really big drawdown, but it won't affect your trailing drawdown until the end of the day. But if you guys do trade props, let me know what are your biggest struggles with it, and I'll try and give you guys advice on which ones to use. Oh. So just random consolidation here. It's not really random. This is actually a quarterly fib level between. So I don't want to reveal my secret sauce too much, but if you draw Fibonacci from low to high of this consolidation, you can see here. Sorry, from low to high. You can see that we're consolidating at this 0.75, which is a quarterly fib, but I'm not going to reveal all the secret sauce, but that is the reason for the consolidation here. Now, what'll probably happen, again, not financial advice, we're probably going to manipulate into this and then get drawdown later, but I don't know for sure. That's just speculation. Oh. We also have the macro time coming up at 10:50, which is in 4 minutes. So wouldn't be surprised if that is what is the driver that drives us into that. And you can kind of see this trend line forming here, this low resistance liquidity. So if this breaks, then it will probably end up dumping, but I think this is just going to keep going higher here. Maybe an inducement through it, and then a reversal to target that hourly buy side, an hourly fair value gap. Guys, also make sure if you're watching the stream, there's like 20 people watching this across different platforms. Make sure that you like it on whatever you're on. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like it. If you're on X, I don't know if you can like it, but I'm really not sure. But gun to my head, this is what's going to happen here. And then maybe we get a reversal during the lunch hour. That is what I'm thinking too, Andre. I think what will probably happen, again, somewhere here, or, okay, let me actually pull it up on NQ. Somewhere in this hourly fair value gap or in this 5-minute fair value gap, we'll get a manipulation up for FOMC, maybe even a closure above this 5-minute, and then a rejection. I think I think this is going to start the potential 2-month sell-off. If you guys didn't know, historically, August, September are the two, probably I would say the two most bearish months in the stock market. So I think we'll get a manipulation, maybe even a continuation during today's session, but then to start August, so in a day or two from now, we'll start a potential down move. But any dips that I see, I think will be good to buy. Because if you look at all I've posted so many different stats. By the way, if you guys don't follow me on X, you can follow me there. But so much data showing that in this type of market, when we have close to a 20% decline and then a full reversal on the year, 100% of the time we're green a year later, and green by a significant amount. So any dips you see will probably be buying opportunities. Okay, so it looks like a break of that trend line that I drew. So I think this is probably going to induce a lot of traders short. I mean, could it work? Sure. But I think what's probably going to happen is it's a fake move, and then we're going to go up and rebalance this hourly. Gun to my head. But I do like that idea, Andre. It's tough to... I'm going to have to see an A+ setup to go short. But if we do get like a really nice big push close to all-time highs, then I think that will be a nice area to reject from. Okay, so there's a fake down move manipulation. I think this hourly gap is next. You can see that new week opening gap is acting as support right now. But again, there's no setup here, guys. This is all speculation. This is the type of trading that you maybe do with one micro contract to try and scalp, but I wouldn't suggest just holding this and praying. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So I think we'll see a spike into this, gun to my head. Again, not financial advice, just something I think will happen. I'm not taking a trade here. There's no setup here. There's no inversions, but it will probably work. Yeah, you really want to see it run here. Sorry, I was a little offline. What do you mean, Andre? Okay, so we're super close to that hourly. If you're in this long, guys, I would partial here just in case they trick us and they don't tag into it. So like maybe partial right here, give or take, even right here on the screen candle, like right here. And if we end up rebalancing this, great. But if not, you've booked some profits beforehand. Excuse me. I said something to me after my replay. Oh. No, I just said it was a good idea. I think it's possible that we manipulate up today and we start the reversal before August begins, but I do like the idea of manipulation and then a move later in the week to continue downwards. Dun 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 dun. So this is what I said to be careful of and why I said to take profits before the hourly gap. I think we'll probably see a sell-off here, realistically, to continue down. Yeah, I think, again, this hourly fair value gap is very important to me, but I think they're going to make it really tough. I think they'll probably sweep all this LRLR now. Maybe we even get a manipulation all the way down here to this hourly inversion, but we'll see. Oh. I think a lot of people were aiming for that hourly. You see what I said, guys? I said be careful, take some profits here, because sometimes they trick you and they don't sweep the hourly buy side, and then they'll just dump the market through all the low resistance liquidity. You also have to think here, people who long this 1 minute inversion have their entry here. So the market is probably going to go to this wick now to stop everybody out. That's my thought process. Again, could I be wrong? Sure. Also, if this inverses, then for sure this is going back up to the hourly buy side. So if we can close above this inversion, then this is going all the way up into here and probably higher. But because they came super close to that hourly and rejected it, I could consider this an intraday top before, you know, going lower, and then we get a manipulation later for F1C. So my guess is that this is the intraday top and that they're going to sell the market off, take out this low, and then later on maybe move the market higher. That's my guess. Again, not an entry here. There's no inversions, but that's my suspicion. So forming a 1 minute OB here. Again, this is not advice, but I think this is going here now. If you guys want to try like a 1-for-1 scalp, keep your stop like above this inversion or maybe like in the mean threshold of it, targeting that low. You can. I'm not going to take it, but that's what I think is going to happen here. So again, why do I think the market is going to this wick? Let's see who can answer. I already explained it on the live stream. Why is this a target for me right now? Why is this a draw on liquidity? There's two reasons. Why is this wick a draw on liquidity? Why is this a target for the algorithms right now? Who knows? Somebody's got to know why it's a target for the algos. Come on, guys. Give me a good answer. El Jefe, 5 and 50-minute FEG. There is a 5-minute fair value gap, but that's not the reason that I'm thinking of right now. Though that is a potential, like it's part of it, but it's not the real reason. I already explained it. $75% fib level? No, that's up here in this consolidation. So there's a tap into that little 1-minute bearish fair value gap. See if that holds. I think it will. Also a fib projection from the breaker. Not a fib projection, but something like that, I guess. The reason being is because this is the first presented inversion fair value gap of the day. People that went long the market had their entry on this candle because that was where the inversion was created. So likely what the algorithm will do is come back to stop everybody out at this low because that's where their entry was. So if the market's going to continue higher here, they want to bring it here first to stop everybody out and then go higher if it's going to. So sometimes they'll bring it really close, like a tick or two away, but I mean, there really wasn't an entry here. Okay, there was no inversions, but you can see that every bearish fair value gap is used to target it. What I would do in these situations is keep your take profit on this candle's wick, somewhere within it, because sometimes they'll bring the market really close and then not take it, like they're doing right here. Sometimes they'll bring it down through, but... And again, this is just out of experience, guys. I know sometimes what they'll do when there's a very obvious fair value gap, they'll bring it super close to the fair value gap, trying to get people to scalp long here, like saying, oh, this is going to hit for sure, so I'm going to go long right here to try and target this. If people that do this are not profitable traders, obviously they're just trying to like make a quick buck. But what ends up happening, and I called this, rewind the tape if you don't believe me, I said, if you're in this long, take profits before this fair value gap, just in case we don't tap into it, because sometimes they manipulate very close to it, manipulate the market, and then they start a sell program to stop everyone out who went long on this leg of price. So again, theoretically, every bearish PD array should be used to go lower here. So this is technically an entry, and your target would be here. However, I said there's also manipulation vice versa on the opposite end. Sometimes they'll bring the market down really close to this wick. That was the first candle. So this was the inversion fair value gap play. This was the candle that created the inversion fair value gap. So the people who are long this market have their break even, their stop to break even right here at this wick's high. That's where the entry was. So they'll bring the market down into it, stop them out, then continue higher. But sometimes they won't bring it down to the wick. They'll bring it really close. So like right over here, or in this wick right here. So this is where you need to be taking profits, not at this low. And yeah, that's the theory behind it. So this is just stuff that comes from years of looking at the market. If you don't believe me, go back and see exactly what I said on this set of green candles. I said, be careful, take profits somewhere before the fair value gap in case they do the manipulation move. And that's what they did here. This is technically, I mean, with experience, this is a short setup. I'm not going to lie, I did scalp this on one of my 50Ks, but that's not something you should be doing. My stop loss was right here at this high, and then I was targeting this wick. So, but that's just out of experience, and that's something you'll learn over time. But I hope that people that are watching the stream learn from that, and they can use that for the future. So take some notes on your, I don't know what you use, a Mac or a desktop, and screenshot this. Say this is an hourly fair value gap. You can even go back to the hourly and take a screenshot here, and it's an FOMC day, so they do this a lot too, but if you get a manipulation candle right before the target, then that's a short, and you could target this wick because that is the low right before this 1 minute inversion formed. And you can see here that we shouldn't end up tagging this, but again, if you're in the short, this is a take profit. Yes, we're probably going to hit this, but on really manipulated days, they come one tick before it and then they go back up. But I still think it's going to hit. But you can see every bearish fair value gap is used to go lower when that intraday sell model starts. Trade up into the bearish fair value gap, rejection. Trade up into the bearish fair value gap, rejection. Does that make sense? Type 1 if that makes sense. Same thing in gold. Could be, yeah. Okay, MT, good. Okay, so there it is. So everybody saw me explain that in real time. If you don't believe what I preach, I mean, how else are you able to call that this is going to hit? It's just like logic. So now if the market is going to go up, it will do it from here, in my opinion. But again, your job is not to just buy this and hope it goes back up. Your job is to get this move and take your profits and be done until FOMC. So right now I'm up $70 per account on like a few 50Ks. So I think it's close to $300 on the day just on on 4 50K accounts. And now I have a $300 cushion, give or take, for FOMC. So if we get a real, so like right now, let's say, okay, I have so many gems to drop here. So this is what I was talking about earlier. I think I have the drawing on NQ, or did I delete it? Let me see. Go back to, I don't know, 1/4 of the way into the video, and you'll see a drawing that I made. But basically now I'm looking for very strong fair value gaps within this range. So right now, this is a strong target for me. For FOMC, if we get a manipulation down, what I'm going to look for is a reversal to target this, and that'll be my TP. So like, just a limit, let's just say we use 1 MNQ here, okay? Right now, you're looking at $93 per contract on this. So if you just bought right here, again, this is not financial advice, and I do not suggest you do it. But if you just bought right here and you targeted this for FOMC, just leave the computer and maybe even do a 1-for-1. I don't know, or even a 2-for-1 if you're really risky. So like $180. Either you're gonna make you're gonna make 93, or you're gonna lose 180. Realistically, this is probably going to hit first, but this is not advice. But if you get like a really strong dump during FOMC, you can just buy it with a, I don't know, a 1-for-1 stop or a 1-for-2, risk 1 to make 2, and target this fair value gap right here. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when strong fair value gaps form during FOMC day, they oftentimes are a magnet for price and will hit later. So this will probably not get touched until FOMC. That's my guess. Again, I could be wrong. If it's the case where this doesn't get hit until FOMC, then I'm going to be looking for a long to target this. That's going to be the main draw on liquidity for me today. Because my thesis is that on the hourly chart, this is going to be a manipulation into this hourly, and then maybe we get a rejection. I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that very obvious fair value gaps are oftentimes magnet for price. So you'll see Powell will start talking at 2, I think at 2:30. The statement gets released at 2. You'll see kind of consolidation, and then at 2:30 you'll see a manipulation, and this will be the target. So that's what I'm looking for. And again, for those of you who are new to the channel, I live stream like 2 or 3 times a week on YouTube, but then the best setups I will live stream in the community. So at 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be live in the Discord for that FOMC setup. I'll explain once the candles print further, so like closer to 2 o'clock, I'll explain more so what I'm looking for based on how price action has played out. But just know, for those of you guys who are not part of the community and you don't want to be, then just focus on this fair value gap and basically look for a setup and inversion play after liquidity sweeps. By the way, we have equal lows right here on NQ that should hit. But this is basically a major level for me right here. So after these equal lows sweep, maybe we can get a long setup for FOMC to target that. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. For those of you guys who are in the community, I'll see you in the Discord at 2 for that setup. And again, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about how this range works and what I'm targeting. So if other things play out, maybe new candles print, because there's a lot until 11. We'll see how that plays out, and then I'll tell you guys what I'm aiming for. But I wish you guys the best, and I will catch you guys in the community. If you want to join, link in the description below. It's not needed, of course, but if you're there, I'll see you there. Have a good one, guys.